Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. So, not too long ago I covered the Labyrinthine Cliffs portion of the Festival of Four Winds, and today we're going to kind of wrap that up with the Crown Pavilion and Queen Jenna's Jubilee. Just like last time, you're first going to need to get to the Crown Pavilion, and in order to do that, there are a few methods. As I said in the previous video, there are hot air balloons in all of the racial capital cities that you can take, or if you prefer, you can just head over to the Crown Pavilion waypoint in Divinity's Reach. You can find this waypoint on the left-hand side of the giant circle that is Divinity's Reach. Once you load in, just take the portal directly behind you and you'll be in the Crown Pavilion. Now, unlike Labyrinthine Falls, there really isn't a ton of exploration, mostly because, again, just like Divinity's Reach, this is just another circular map, and if you look at the map itself, it's not very large. You may also notice that this circle is divided into 6 sections, and each one of these sections is home to one of the enemies of the humans in Guild Wars 2. Bandits, Flame Legion, Pirates, Centaurs, Destroyers, and the White Mantle are all represented in this circle, and unlike the original implementation of this particular event, there are no longer ogres. But as a throwback to when ogres were part of this festival, right when you load in on the Crown Pavilion map, there will be 3 ogres that you can take out for an achievement. The main event of the Crown Pavilion is the Boss Blitz, and just like there are 6 sections with 6 enemies of the human races, there's going to be a boss that corresponds to each one of those enemy types that will spawn. The amount of loot you'll get for completing this event will vary based on how long it takes to complete the event, and that's why it's a good idea to have as many players on this map as you can, and rather than running around in a giant blob trying to take out one boss at a time, it makes way more sense, especially if you're going for, say, the gold reward, to split that into subgroups or join multiple squads, each one focused on a particular boss. Each one of the bosses has its own unique special ability, and when a boss is defeated, all surviving bosses now have that ability in addition to all their other abilities. If you happen to be playing with a coordinated squad, you may notice that the lower that your boss's health gets, they may ask you to stop attacking for a while. And it's in that time that you could find a safe place to stand, or you could farm up some of the regular mobs surrounding the boss. This again because there are achievements tied to every single group, and I believe you have to kill about 50 of each one for all the achievements. Just try not to get too distracted because you're going to need to finish that boss off before the first timer ends, or you'll miss out on that gold reward. Now, all of that being said, you're probably going to find yourself in a large group, and for the most part, as long as you can keep yourself alive, you're going to complete this event. Do your very best to keep squad chat open in case the commander tells you to say stop attacking something, and again, you should be just fine. Whether you complete this event in a timely manner and get yourself the gold reward, or maybe you lag a little bit behind and you get the silver, or you just manage to complete it at all and get the bronze, you'll be awarded with a chest that more or less is just filled with a certain number of champion bags. If you're not familiar with champion bags, these are dropped from, you guessed it, champions in the open world, and what you're mostly hoping for here are a few cosmetic skins that can drop, as well as a fair amount of crafting materials. Now, if you're in the process of crafting something, it's a good idea to try and farm up some of these bags whenever possible, but if you did see my Labyrinthine Falls video, then you'll know that there are a fair few traders who will take those extra crafting materials off your hands, and you're essentially getting yet another loot box that you can gamble on some skins and more crafting materials. At the end of each boss blitz, you're going to be met with a mount race, and this is arguably the most dangerous race they've ever put in the game because this is going to take you through all of those 6 slices I was talking about earlier, and those enemies are still going to be there, so you'll be dodging enemies as you try to complete this race. Once the timer for the race has run out, you're going to see a new event that pops up, and this event, called Prepare for the Boss Blitz, is actually just going to start that Boss Blitz up all over again. In order to get this started, you're going to need to either take out some of the enemies in the map, or if you prefer, you can donate some of your hard-earned gold to speed up the process. So you can see you basically just play this event on loop and then enjoy a mount race, or just wait and clean out your inventory until it starts up again. While you're waiting, you could also spend some time in the center of this circle where there's a single waypoint surrounded by a few vendors. Just like the Labyrinthine Falls, you're also going to be getting some festival tokens, and here in the Crown Pavilion, you're going to find essentially the same vendor. Just like in the previous video, I won't be going through all the rewards here because there are quite a few. Just know that this is a thing, and you should definitely take some time to look through these and see if there's anything you want to work toward. Right next to that vendor, you're going to find a Sovereign Weapons vendor. And it's here that things are just a little bit different than they were back in the Labyrinthine Falls. Here you're going to see an entire list of different weapons that you can unlock, and these are specific to just this event, so if you did want to go ahead and work on something, this probably makes the most sense as long as you like the skins. Take note that your festival tokens aren't any good here, and instead you're going to need to give up some of your gold. And not just some, it's kind of expensive. In addition to all that gold, you may see that each one of these also requires a ticket, or something called the Favor of the Festival. And this is where the daily reward that I mentioned at the end of the Labyrinthine Cliffs video comes into play. Taking a quick look at the dailies for this festival, you can see that each one of the daily achievements has got a little bit of loot tied to it. And what we're looking for here is whatever daily is going to get you your Favor of the Bazaar and Favor of the Pavilion. Once you have one of each of these items in your inventory, you can double click to combine them into a Favor of the Festival. Now, the regular Sovereign skins are going to cost you one of those tickets as well as some gold, but if you look at the second tab of this vendor, you can see that there are some Divine Sovereign skins. Now, to even unlock the ability to purchase these skins, you're first going to have to unlock the regular Sovereign version of the same kind of weapon. And I bring this to your attention because if these skins do seem appealing to you, you will need to buy the original, and then you'll need 3 more Favor of the Festival tickets as well as some more gold in order to unlock each one of these. Personally, I don't see myself going for these, at least this time around, but I will leave some footage in the background so you can see what those kinds of skins actually look like if that's something you want to go for. There is a third vendor that you can trade in some more of those festival tokens, only this time you're actually just going to be getting an item called Queen's Gauntlet Entrance Ticket. Well, as far as what to do with that ticket, if you head to the outer ring of the Crown Pavilion and head up some of the ramps, you may notice that there's actually an upper ring to this map as well. All around the upper ring, you're going to see some NPCs as well as a few small arenas or circular platforms. These small arenas are for you to fight a boss of your choosing, and in order to pick that boss, you'll first need to talk to the NPC called the Fight Manager. This NPC, as you may have been able to deduce, is going to allow you to choose the boss you'd like to fight in the arena. When you first start off, you'll only have access to the first tier, but as you play, you'll gain access to the 2 other regular tiers, and finally, a special tier. Once you've chosen a boss, you can head over to the Ringmaster and just tell the Ringmaster you're ready to fight. Now, that doesn't mean that the fight is going to immediately start because this is an instanced map with a ton of players. Because of this, you can actually watch other players fight, but also this means that you will have to wait for other players to finish their attempt or success, depending, before you'll be able to fight yourself. Now, I'm not going to go into all the bosses for this video because I would be here all day, but I will say that if at any point you're struggling, do not be afraid to completely change up your build. Remember always that you do have other characters, hopefully, and you could try a different profession. And if all else fails, you can always watch other players attempt the same boss until you start to figure out the mechanics. If after taking out enough of these bosses, you decide that this is boring and you'd like more of a challenge, you can also talk to an NPC who will add what are called gambits to the fight that you're actually about to start. Now, keep in mind that activating a gambit will cost extra tickets, So the fight itself is going to cost you 1 entrance ticket, and then an additional ticket for each one of those gambits that you have active. This will make the fights more challenging, but there are a fair amount of achievements tied to taking out each one of these bosses, both with and without gambits. Now, while I'm not going to be covering the bosses individually here today, keep in mind that this is now an annual festival, and while they may change up a few things, for the most part, it'll be the same next year, and I'll need to make a video on something, right? But anyway guys, that's pretty much it for the Crown Pavilion, as well as the Festival of Four Winds. I know this video is coming out a little bit late, but keep in mind that as of this video going up, you still have 1 more week to get in and enjoy this, so if you haven't started yet, hopefully these videos will help you get into all of the activities tied to this festival. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, I hope you're enjoying the festival, and I'll see you in the next one.